Labour's red rose, once meant as the symbol of a party pulling together, is it now torn in different directions? The thorny issue of anti-Semitism has prompted fierce disagreements between people of the same political colour. Some think this row about anti-Semitism is being used by Jeremy Corbyn's critics to undermine his leadership. But others think it shows the fundamental differences that exist at the heart of the Labour Party, and that's why it's so difficult to overcome. It's certainly drowning out Labour's efforts to promote policy this summer. The Shadow Business Secretary was in Merseyside this morning to push the party's clean energy plans, but was asked about something else entirely.
It's a very, very difficult issue, and we're coming from a very dark place. We know that we weren't dealing with issues very quickly when this issue first presented itself, and now we really need to get to grips with the matter.
The party has tonight dropped an investigation into the MP Margaret Hodge, who challenged Jeremy Corbyn over anti-Semitism. That's something of a concession from the leadership, but a crucial point of difference: how to define anti-Semitism still hasn't been resolved. Meanwhile, the party's deputy leader, Tom Watson, condemned those who called for him to stand down. There'd been an angry backlash on Twitter after he claimed Labour would disappear into a vortex of eternal shame and embarrassment if it failed to tackle anti-Semitism. So are feelings running too high? Are the differences too deep to resolve?
On the domestic agenda, on the economy, on public services, on work, there is actually far more coherence than anybody would imagine, given the level of public conversation, like you say. But I think Israel-Palestine is probably one of those issues where, like I say, there is almost an incommensurable difference between what different people are saying.
Do you think that Labour could split on the issue of anti-Semitism?
I doubt it. Clearly this is now quite a robust political body. Like I say, I think there's a great deal of agreement actually around Jeremy Corbyn's domestic agenda. I think it can and will survive this, yes, absolutely.
Jeremy Corbyn has known division in his party since he was first elected leader. The left-wing policy platform, which put him at odds with some, was hugely appealing to others. His supporters, galvanised by leadership victories and last year's election, have tightened their grip on the party machine. And at this year's conference, a crucial vote could give members even more say over how things are run. So where does this leave Jeremy Corbyn's critics?
We are headed, I think, for a situation in which it looks highly likely not only that Jeremy Corbyn is going to be in charge for a long time, but then Corbynites will be in charge for a long time. And that is part of what's going on, because you have MPs who might be willing to sit it out for 5 years, not saying anything about a leadership they don't agree with. But when they're forced to say, well, what if it's 10 years? Or do I have to say, particularly if you're an MP who disagrees with him on the security issue, am I going to stay in this party? That is the question a lot of them are asking themselves.
Differences aren't unusual in political parties, but on anti-Semitism, the divisions run to Labour's very roots. How it handles this issue could determine the party's very future.